Welcome and good afternoon everyone. My name is Wahidah Binti Mohd Amir. My number matrix is 202478379. And today I will share how traditional herbs like Tonka Ali or Kashif Fatima go through a scientific and regulatory process before they are approved for safe use. We will look at two key parts. First, how their herbs are scientifically evaluated, and second, how they are approved by health authorities before being sold to the public. Did you know that some herbal products in the market can actually be harmful, even though they are natural? Many of us think traditional herbs are always safe, but that's not always true. Today I explain how traditional herbs are scientifically tested and approved to make sure they are truly safe for us. Over 70% of people in some countries rely on traditional herbs for their health care. But that's the problem, not all of them go through proper testing. That's why today I'll be talking about how traditional herbs are evaluated and approved by health authorities before we can safely use them. Imagine this. A friend buys a herbal product online claiming to boost immunity. After a few days, they feel sick, but it turns out the product was never tested or approved. That's why today's topic is so important. I'm going to share how traditional herbs through a proper process to be approved. So that's what we take is truly safe. Now, I'd like to explain how traditional herbs are scientifically evaluated. Before a herb can be approved, it must go through several steps to confirm its safety, effectiveness, and quality. The main purpose of this evaluation is to make sure the herb is safe to consume, actually works for its intended use, and is of consistent quality. There are a few key steps in this process. First is phytochemical analysis, where scientists identify the active compounds inside the herb. Next is toxicity testing, done in labs and sometimes on animals to check for harmful effects. Finally, some herbs go through clinical trials on humans unless the herb already has long proven history of traditional use. Another important step is standardization. This means making sure every batch of the herb product has the same dosage and strength. The product is also tested for contaminants like heavy metals or bacteria, which can be dangerous if not removed. So, in summary, the scientific evaluation process helps ensure that traditional herbs are not just natural, but also safe, effective, and produced with high quality standards. Now let's move on to the regulatory approval process. This is where government health authorities review and approve herbal products before they are allowed to be sold to the public. To register a traditional herbs product, the manufacturer must submit a few key documents. First, evidence of traditional use, usually showing that herb has been used safely for many years. Scientific data if available, especially the product makes stronger medical claims. And detailed information on the product formulation, such as ingredients and dosage. Different countries have different authorities that handle approvals. In Malaysia, it's the MPRA, National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency. In the United States, it's the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. And in Europe, approvals are managed by the EMA, European Medicines Agency. There are two main types of approval of herbal products. First, traditional registration. This is given to herbs that have been used safely for a long time. Second, herbal medical product registration. This type requires scientific evidence of effectiveness and safety just like pharmaceutical drugs. So, through documentation and proper review by health agency, traditional herbs can be safely brought into the modern healthcare system. Once a traditional herb product is approved, the process doesn't just end there. There are several important steps that continue even after approval to ensure ongoing safety and compliance. First is labeling. The product must clearly show the correct dosage, how to use it, and any warnings or precaution. This helps users take the product safely and avoid misuse. Next is marketing. Herbal companies are not allowed to make false or exaggerated claims. For example, they cannot say that a herb cures cancer if there's no scientific proof. All promotional materials must follow strict health guidelines. Finally, even after a product is on the market, it's still monitored. This is called post-market surveillance. Health authorities like MPRA will continue to observe for side effect or consumer complaints and can take action if problems occur. So, after a herb is approved, it must follow rules on labeling, advertising, and safety monitoring to protect public health. Conclusion. To conclude this presentation, let's go over the key points we learned today. Firstly, we saw that even though traditional herbs have been used for generations, they still need to be scientifically evaluated to confirm their safety and effectiveness. Secondly, the approval process by regulatory bodies ensure that only safe, effective, and high-quality products reach the market. Finally, this process is a good example of how we can combine traditional knowledge with modern scientific regulation, giving us the best of both worlds. Thank you for your attention. I hope this presentation has helped you understand how traditional herbs go through a proper approval process before they can be safely used by the public.